Alright, we're here. It's time to game. Let me move my phone a little bit so I can see my screen. I'm gonna try playing it in full screen. Sometimes when I play in full screen, it makes my stream crash. But we'll see, eh? We'll see. So far, so good. But I haven't started the game yet, so... Continue. I'm gonna say there's nothing to continue. New game. Leon. Standard. Ooh. No, it just looks nasty. A corpse, man! Ay, ay, ay. It's just getting good. Raining. Wait, you can't hear the people talking in the game? But you can hear the rain? Really? I don't even know what could cause that. Guys, no talking? Why wouldn't you hear the talking? Oh my god, it's baby girl. That's my baby girl right there. How did he drive up and not see that? Yeah, that is weird. You still can't hear them talking? Maybe it's just too quiet. Speech is a little quiet. Maybe I'll turn it up and you can hear. Nope. That's loud as it gets. My eye itched. Maybe I'll turn this off. I don't know what that is. Headphones. I don't know what this is. What does 3D audio do? I don't think that would affect y'all being able to hear it or not, but also maybe it would. Look around. Okay. Wowie. We walking. Hello? Is anybody home?
Anybody there?
Look at that wiggly little guy.
Something's not right.
Yeah, the power's out and there's blood everywhere. Hey, dude.
You alright? Don't move. I'll be back for you.
Okay. Okay. Everything's probably fine. Oh no, he does not got this. Oh, good heavens. Ooh. Juicy. Yeah, I'll shoot you in the head. Okay, I'll shoot you in the head again. And again. Okay, now time for that other guy to attack me. Oh, so scary. Oh, I don't have a key. Can I get a key? I got a key. Oh, key. I'll take that. Oh. Oh, I see. Whoa. Okay. Wait, could you hear them talking there? Could you hear them talking, or is it still not working? Let me know. You can't hear the speech? What would even cause that? I'm just gonna start over. We'll just exit the game and we'll start it all over. All the way. We'll start it all the way. Because I don't know why you can't hear sound. That's very quirky and different. Let's try again. Finger. Okay. Moment of truth. No? That's very interesting. Why can't you hear the speech? What? That's so weird. Why can't you hear everything else? I don't even know what could potentially cause that. Maybe I'll turn everything else down? Alright, let's try again. And then... I'll give it a go. Okay. Bum ba bum. Did that fix it? Oh. Ah. Super quiet though? Damn. Okay, okay. Fuck. Damn, I've never had a game be too quiet before. From across the ballpark. Never had this problem before. Usually games are too loud. I still don't know what 3D audio is. I don't know if that makes any difference. Okay. Let's try some other things real quick. Blah, 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 blah. I have to do this to be able to do like anything else. Sound settings. Please don't blow up my stream. Okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn this up. We're gonna try again. Turn these things down even more. And now, let's see.
Stop moving.
Officer, you need help?
Stay back, sir. I got this.
Hey, get off him! Right now!
Help me!
Great success. Great success, yes.
Freeze! I'll shoot!
Cool beans. Now, to continue on with our lives. Anyway. Oh.
Jesus.
Damn it!
What the?
Oh. Goodness gracious, me oh my. Oh, hello.
Don't shoot!
Get down!
Get down! Ah! There's monsters in there.
You alright?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks.
Yeah, you're
Thank me
welcome,
later,
man.
when we're safe.
Holy shit.
Oh my. These are some serious zombies.
Come on! Get in!
Too loud now?
Hold on.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know.
Unless that it sounds
Hopefully
fine?
we'll have some
Okay.
answers at
So
the
long
police
as that
station.
so long as it sounds fine.
Wait, you're a cop?
Yeah, Leon Kennedy. You are?
Claire. Claire Redfield.
You live around here?
No. I'm looking for my brother. He's a cop too.
Well,
Oh.
it's a good thing we found each other. I don't know what to expect anymore.
Raccoon City. Wow. Ah, thank you for the head pat. Hey, Nunez. Oh, sweet baby girl. He doesn't even have a 5 o'clock shadow yet. He's just a little guy. Ugh. Wow. Alright guys, that's it. That was the game. I hope you liked it.
Attention all citizens. Due to the citywide outbreak, you are advised to take shelter at the Raccoon City Police Station. Free food and medical supplies will be provided to everyone in need.
Well, that's nice.
God, this is so unreal.
The police station's not much farther. They'll know something.
Yeah, but what if we're the only ones? What if there's no
No,
survivors?
there's survivors. It's a big city. There has to be.
Yeah, don't be such a Debbie Downer.
Looks like we're walking from here.
More like running.
Yeah, good call.
Jesus Christ!
Wow! Leon, we gotta back up.
Wow, there's so many of them.
What the?
Vroom vroom. Oh, it's our friend from earlier.
Claire, get out.
Get out now!
I can't!
Hold on!
Ooh, ouchies. Oh yeah, I don't think the captions ever really match what I'm actually saying. They're just in like beta testing.
Oh no.
Wow, ew, Jesus Christ. This boy is sturdy.
Claire! Claire, you okay?
Ah, she's probably fine.
I'm alright! How about you?
can't stay here. It's not safe.
Go on ahead. I'll meet you at the station.
I'll be there.
Or will
This
I?
is out of control.
Is. Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, it's over here. Hello? Is there anything over here for me?
Shit. It's everybody. They've all turned.
Oh. What a wacky little city.
There it is.
Oh.
The station.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't think I was gonna get over there that easy. Oh, there's a fucking maze. Excuse me. Oh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Have a good day, everybody. Okay. Well, that was nice. Hello? Is anybody home? Keep out. Okay.
Hello?
Oh,
Is
whoa.
anybody here?
Oh, for me? Thank you. What's this? I save. What's this?
There has to be someone here.
There is someone here. They're not very good at shooting.
David, Marvin, you there? I found a way out. It's in here.
You'd shoot him in the head. What are you doing?
Send reinforcements. East hallway.
I gotta find that guy.
Yeah, gotta find that guy. I have a map. Okay. What's this? Wow, nothing. All right. What's this? Hey, full beans. What's this? Okay, cool. What's up here? Okay. That obviously needs a key. I jump down. Whoopee! Oh, more thing for me. Combine? Ah. He doesn't run very fast. A puzzle. Okay. What's this? Just a normal plant. A door. Oh, for me. Thank you. Yeah, put that in there. Computer. Oh, a safe. Oh, a thing. Welcome to Raccoon City. Did you know while we are the home of the pharmaceutical giant Umbrella Corporation, Raccoon City is a vibrant and dynamic city with a long, rich history of its own. And this guide will introduce you to just a few of the more unusual points of interest our city has to offer. Raccoon City Police Station. The building in the center of the town wasn't always a police station. In fact, it used to be an art museum. Various features like the unusual clock tower and the goddess statue in the main hall remind us of a bygone era. Orphanage. Just a few blocks from the police station is an orphanage founded and run by the Umbrella Corporation. With the help of generous donations from businesses and citizens alike, the building is known for its stained glass window, which attracts visitors from around the world. That's kind of weird. Oh, honey, we must go visit the orphanage. It has a wonderful stained glass window. I want... Okay. Oh. Alright. When you put it like that, what other way is there to put it? It's weird to visit an orphanage. Another puzzle. Okay, well. Oh, for me? Thanks. Oh, I don't fancy that one bit. Ew, why would he do that?
Okay.
Alright. I'm a strong, capable person. What's this? Okay, understood. Oh boy. Okay. When do I get a knife? Oh. Let me in! Hello? Ugh. I'm a capable person. I'm a capable person. I can defend myself. I don't need to be scared. Hi, mommy rabbit. Sorry, mommy rabbit. Sorry, mommy. Mommy, sorry, mommy. Sorry, mommy. Okay.
You got this.
Yeah, you know, me too. Me too, Leon. Me the fuck too. Can I go in here? Oh, what the hell? That was weird. Okay. Well, are you dead? Don't fuck with me, alright? You better be dead. Dude, did he fucking poop his pants? Where's that noise coming from? Anything? What's in here? Wouldn't you? I guess so. Alright, you stay right there. I'm gonna push this weird little button. Are you dead? I don't like that. What's in here? Anything? What am I missing? Oh, there's ammo? Where? Okay. Thank you for your contribution. You got this, buddy. Ugh. This is scary. Where am I going? Okay. Are you dead? Oh, I don't like that window.
Jesus.
Are you dead? These people haven't shit their pants. I don't know if they're dead. Ugh. Ugh. I don't wanna. I'm scared. But I gotta go over there. Okay.
Open up! Hurry! Open up! Open this goddamn door!
I'll get you out!
Help me! Please!
Give me your hand.
Help me!
I got you. Give me your other hand.
Oh no. Oh goodness gracious. Oh good heavens, how could this happen? Oh my good lord.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but sorry buddy, that's it for you. Good night, sweet prince. Whew. Hey, well at least I got the thingy I needed. Oh wow, he's an artist. Solve the puzzles and then I can get out. Who would have guessed it? That's crazy, man. Oh. Okay. One of these things is important. One of these things I can use. Get the thingamabob. Okay, well... yeah, this is all very exciting. Ah!
Jesus.
Not my problem, not my problem, not my problem. Maybe my problem? Where the fuck did I come from?
Jesus! They're everywhere!
Oh, I have to reload.
What the?
Whew!
Fuck off!
Yeah, fuck off. Oh, stuff. Yeah, I'll take that. Where am I? I didn't get that.
Come on.
Go, little dude, go!
God damn it!
Don't let him on ya. Oh, hey, Deed.
Watch out!
I got it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're safe.
Those quick draw skills of yours, I can hear it now.
Marvin Browner.
I was just thinking about that. As soon as there's an enemy in my face, I'm very quick to shoot him in it. Bam, bam.
Here.
Whew.
I'm sure you did what you could, Leon.
I did do what I could.
Does anyone know what started this?
Not a clue. But honestly, all you need to know is that this place will eat you alive if you aren't careful.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to start last week, and I got a call to stay away. I wish I'd come here sooner.
You're here now, Leon. That's all that matters.
Okay, Lieutenant? I'm ready.
Hopefully you'll be able to find a way out of this station. That officer you met earlier, Elliot. He thought this secret passageway might do the trick.
Bloody.
We can get you to a hospital.
No, I am not the priority here.
Lieutenant, I'm not just gonna leave you here.
I'm giving you an order, rookie. You save yourself first.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I'd come with you, but I just...
I mean, Lieutenant.
Now, you'll need this.
I can't take him.
Stop.
A knife? Aw, gee,
Don't make my
thanks.
mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate.
Aye, aye.
You take it out. Or you run. Got it?
I got it.
Yes, sir.
You want me to shoot you? Knife! Hell yeah. Hua, hua, hua. Okay. One of these was for up here. How do I... Okay. This. Yes. What is this? Okay. Tiger wheat bird. Yay! I did it! And we'll put that right there, and then we'll come on down here. Oh, this is the same? Really? Wow. And then... They just... Okay.
Elliot was
Wow.
right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but the passage isn't open yet.
Yeah, I gotta get more stuff. Fun fact, Leon doesn't backflip yet. Yet. Yeah, he did a backflip in 4. Okay. Taped box. Fuse box. Okay, so now we're gonna go into here. Whoop-bam!
This is not how I
whoa.
imagined my first day.
Yeah, that's probably fair, bud. A window. Well, I don't like windows. Oh, ammo. I like ammo. What's this? Nothing. Okay. I don't want to go over there. Ugh. Okay, it was fine. I was being a little dramatic. Okay. Okay. Well. I don't like that.
This is 73 Birdie. A rescue heading east. The river down at RPD. Minute. I repeat.
What happened to you, bud?
Fuck.
Ew. Slimy.
Huh? What?
Oh. That's unpleasant. How'd you get up there? This is scary. I'm frightened. You're doing great, thank you. Oh, that looks nice. Oh. Aw, jeez. Aw, jeez, man. Alright. Oh. Okay. Don't know what I did that for, but I did it. You gonna come in? Okay.
You bastard. Fuck.
Okay. Come on in! Oh, I gotta reload.
Shit!
Oh, there he goes. Dab. Okay. Record of events. September 25th. We're turning the station into a temporary shelter due to the massive sudden outbreak. All police personnel have been instructed to make the safety of the citizens their top priority as we try to accommodate as many of them as possible. September 25th. One of the refugees attacked us in the middle of the night, resulting in the death of one officer and injuring 3 others. The person in question was quickly restrained. We believe this was simply a case of someone snapping under intense stress. September 26th. A mob attacked a station today, resulting in a number of casualties. A few survivors were able to make it safely behind the emergency shutters, but surrounded as we are, it'll be hard for any of us to escape this place. We're not sure if we can fix any of our comm equipment, so we remain cut off from the outside world. September 27th. There was another clash on the west side of the station around 1 p.m. 12 people died. And there is only a handful of survivors left. Everything is falling into disarray in here. Damn. Sucks, dude. Wow, a map. Ooh. I don't want to go in there. Can't I just stab it? Damn it. Fine. Can I shoot it? Ah, fine. Man, nobody ever lets me have any fun.
Damn it.
Sick. Where am I? Blah 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 blah. Dude, that guy's fucking dead. He shit himself. What were you trying to get? Candy? Was it worth it? Wow, I really blew his head open. Where? I going here? Okay. Okay, okay. Gunpowder. Oh. Handgun ammo, shotgun shells, mag. Gunpowder yellow. Gunpowder yellow. Not a lot of ammo left around the station, so make good use of any gunpowder you find. Different guns require different ammo, so pay attention to when you're combining things, or you won't get what you need. Okay. We're kind of chilling right now. Does this mean I don't need it anymore? And I can like get rid of it, the check mark? Can I get rid of that? I feel like I have to get rid of stuff in this game. Look at my itty bitty widow in inventory. Ugh. The little stretch. Pop my fucking neck out. Jesus. Operation report. September 28th, 2:30 a.m. Wow, that's fucking early. That was what, the gas station key? Yeah, it was. It's down to just me and 3 others. No weapons, no ammo. And too many skirmishes have drained us mentally and physically. We're not gonna make it. Officer Phillips once suggested we escape through the sewers. Apparently, there's a secret tunnel under this place left over from the museum days. I brushed her idea off before, but now it's not sounding all that bad. Yeah, there's no proof there's even a tunnel, or that the sewers aren't infested with zombies, but I don't want to sit here and wait to die either. It's a long shot, but I'm gonna try and find out what I can about that tunnel. Aw, poor Elliot. Rookie's first assignment. Leon S. Kennedy, we're putting you on a very special case for your first assignment. Your mission is to unlock your desk. The key to your success is in the initials of our first names. Input the letters in order of our desks. There are 2 locks, one on each side of your desk. Make sure you get them both. Basically, your first task is to remember your fellow officers' names. But you figured that much out, right? Good luck, Leon. By the way, it might take a little work to get Scott to give you a straight answer. Scrawled in the corner between drops of blood. Be glad you're not here, Rookie. Hey. Fuck. Okay. Okay. Shit. Hey, dude. Hey, what's your name? Could you tell me your name, maybe? I was expecting that, but I also wasn't.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, I gotta reload. Please wait a moment. Damn. What's your name? Bastard. Is there another dead body in here? Hey, what's your name? Can you read it like a valley girl? Alistair! Hold on, I gotta hydrate. I am good at puzzles. Oh god, don't redeem them all! They're gonna overlap! Now I just got a bunch of letters on me. Next time I read something, I'll try to remember to read it like a valley girl. I'm a reader. Thank you for that, Pat. All right. Let me turn over my little notebook because I have a memory of nothing. Okay, so is it the last name that I need? The nit of our first names. Okay. D. Where's my pen at? Aw, you missed me. D. Yeah, it's been a little bit. I was sick for a little while. And I'm still a tiny bit sick, but I am mostly all better. Aw, there's like little welcome, Leon. Aw, what a bunch of losers. There's no D. Okay. Maybe N E D. Thick. Okay, and then this one. And then it was on the floor. George? All right, George. Yay, I did it. Nice. Sick. Matilda. Beautiful. Oh, I got glasses now. Aw, it's me. Man, he could have had such a lovely little normal life. Not anymore. Where am I right now? There's still more stuff in here. Hey, dude. Hey. Are you dead? Understood.
What the fuck?
Now he is. Oh my gosh, another safe. So many. So many things. OMG mama material. Ay ay ay. Mommy May. Okay. There's a safe in there, but I can't do nothing about that right now. Hello? Is anybody here? Oh, where'd you come from? You should be dead. Oh. Where's he going? Hey, dude.
Do this.
Are you lost? You see me? I'm over here. Come this way.
Oh no.
Oh, I fucking missed. Come over here, dude.
God damn it.
Oh, damn. Okay. Anywho. I think that's all I can do in here right now. That's nice, I guess. Oh, hey, dude. Ah, I missed. Hey, dude. You want in? I'll wait. Oh, what the fuck? Dude, stay dead.
Fucking hell.
Dude, these zombies are a little dumb.
You bastard.
Can we stay dead this time? Pretty please. Holy shit, dude. What about now? Are you done? Oh, what's this? Oh. What's this? Oh. Okay. What's this? Spooky music. Those huge, huge glasses. They're like my glasses in real life. What's this? It appears that the... Oh, wait, Valley Girl. It appears that the keypad to the locker's terminal is missing a few keys. I suggest the person responsible for this mess find some spare keys and fix this right now. You know who you are, bastard. Who else would fuck it up this badly? Beautiful. Ah. Oh. 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 I want it. It is mine. What other numbers can I enter? There's no 2 or 3. Oh, is that this? 102, not 103. We can do 106. Is that like a grenade or something? What are you? Roll film. Be gone. What do I do with roll film? Do I need that? What would I use that for? I guess I'll fucking... Mine now, I guess. Oh, big gun. Can't get any of these yet. All right. It holds a locate. Okay. Hip pouch. Oh. I want that. And cannot open it though. Alright. Fuck. Where else? Oh, this way? Right? No. This way? Yeah. You gonna come in or what?
Jesus.
Oh. Oh, I can't carry that. Shit. Blue, green, basic, blue, used to be treat poisoning. Red, visually appealing, no, blah blah blah. Combining, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Where's a save point? That point before I do. Light. This. Oh. This? I don't know. You can stay there. Ha. Anyway. What's in here? Oh! We were just talking about you. What's this? Oh! Look at that! Okay. Film contains evidence. Do not leave out. Okay. Probably time to go up the spooky stairs, huh? Alright. Okay. Oh, what's this? Oh. Pardon. Hey, dude. Jesus Christ! Why are these guys so chunky? Hey, you have my knife in you! Can I have it back? Thank you. Where'd he go? Are you dead? I swear to God. Hello? Pete? Where's Mr. Groany? Did the zombie fall over the banister? Oh yeah, he did! Jesus Christ, dude.
Asshole.
You just like stay dead maybe? I'm gonna come stab you. You better be dead. Okay. Alright. I don't want to go in there. Oh, some more flowers. Oh, I guess I'm going in there. Well, I don't want to go in the men's restroom. It's probably stinky. Yeah, see now I just don't like that. Well, I don't like this either. We good? Okay. Well, I don't have anything for that. Oh, I don't need that. Okay. Portable safe. Okay. Press a button to light up its corresponding lamp. Light them all to open the safe. The buttons must be pressed in a certain order. Pressing a single button out of order will cause the lights to... Oh, okay. Ha! I forgot. Okay, so that's going to be the last one. My pen isn't working and I'm gonna forget. Another pen. Yeah. That was weird. Okay. Fuck. I don't remember. Shit. Hello. Oh, thank you for all the love. Okay. Okay, can I start over? It. Sick. What is this? Okay. What's it for? Oh, it's a button. Okay, well, I don't want to go in there. Yeah, you stay. Hey! Hey, it's not nice to break glass. Rude ass. Wait, where am I going? No, this isn't. Where was... Here. Here. I want 203, but I can't get to that yet because I need more buttons than I have. Let me think about that options. What's in there? Oh, there's a knife in that one. Oh, I think I'll do the 3. I don't know if that'll fuck me later, but like, whatever, dude. I like knives. A knife! The same knife. What are the odds of me being able to move this? That'd be funny. Just switch it around. Oh, that's gunpowder. Yeah, I don't really need that right now. That's fine. Alright. Hello? 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 Oh, hello? Oh, goodness gracious, fuck. To come back for that. Excuse me, dead bodies. Oh, I need that key. Yeah, I'll put that in there for now, I guess. Oh, scary, scary, scary. Oh man. Oh jeez, dude. Okay.
What in the...
Hello? To any survivors, consider this a gift for anyone still alive. Consider this a gift for anyone still unfortunate enough to be alive. Keep your eyes peeled for those creepy fucks that look like they were skinned alive. Lickers, we call them. They're blind as bats, but their hearing more than makes up for that. So long as you don't run around like a total idiot, guns a blazing, you should be able to slip by them. Probably. Either way, make like my grandma and creep around as slow as possible around them, yeah? Anyway, not that I want to go, but duty calls. That, and I've got a friend to avenge. David. Let's go. Oh my gosh, I forgot I had long hair. Long. Oh, okay. I don't even think. Oh my gosh, I didn't want to press that button. One moment. Now I'm way bigger than I gotta be. I gotta be just a little guy right over here in the corner. In the corner. Whew. Just thinking, I don't even know if I've got... Yeah, I did. Okay. Ugh. Canon size. This is my canonical size. I'm big. Big bunny. Actually small. Just a little guy. Just a little dude. Oh, now I don't know where it was. I don't know, that's probably fine. Long hair. Okay. Alright. I'm a little frightened. But that's okay. Liquors. Liquor? I hardly know her. I have room for that. Don't have room for that. Oh. What the fuck is that? Okay, so something wacky's definitely about to happen to me. Oh, dude. Oh, dude, hell yeah! Sick. Awesome. Oh gosh, now I'm pink. So much is happening. Ah, jeez, man, what is that? They're in the walls. What is this? I feel like... What's this? Some guy's scribblings. Damn those corporate assholes, they cut me off. After all I've done for them. But if that's how it's gonna be, so be it. I'm gonna have a little fun of my own so the world goes to shit. As the world goes to shit. I boarded all those filthy pigs up in a steel pen. And set some C4. All I gotta do is detonate. And it's sayonara, suckers. But it's no fun if it's over too soon, so maybe I'll give that one raving loon something to really squeal about. Yeah, maybe I'll give him a little toy and tell him, kill the guy next to you and I'll spare the others. I wonder what he'll do. You yell about justice and pride, but how many times did you go against me? Your own superior. Yeah, you're such a good cop. So you had to die? Man, this is fun. I need some music for this. What? Okay. So... do I need something for that? Because I don't really want to be here right now. I'd rather just come back later. Besides, I have a key now. There's a door by the hanging zombie. Oh, okay. Oh, there is. Okay, well, you know, this isn't so bad. Minus all those guys. Alright, what am I doing here?
Leon, it's Marvin. I need you back here ASAP.
Are you okay, Marvin?
I've got
Leon,
something to
shut
show
the
you.
fuck up.
It's important.
Copy that. I'll be right there.
Oh, I got baloney. Excuse me. Oh, what's this? I don't have room for that. Okay, can we all just, can we think about this, please? Because I need to think about this. Do y'all know how to use ladders? Have to find out, I guess. So I need to move that. And to move that, I need that, and I need to put it there. Okay. That's not so bad. Okay. Alright, failers.
Shit.
What are you saying shit for? Jesus Christ. Loaded that guy's head. Oh, I lagged a little bit. Alright, yeah, come up the stairs. That exploded.
It's gonna suck.
Okay, come here, buddy. Let me shoot your noggin. Okay, got it. Not much of a sniper.
Oh boy. You bastard.
Alright, head exploded. Go solve a little puzzle. And by that I mean... fuck. But I haven't even been injured. Shit. Ah, fiddlesticks, dude. Do I need this? How badly do I need this? Can I just get rid of it? Combine? Combine with what? I want this. Oh, I need a thing for it. That's what it's saying to me. Silly me. Silly me. I can just leave. Oh, what's this? Where am I? Okay. This is this fish scorpion. Whatever the fuck that is. With this? This? Okay. Cool beans! I don't have room for that. Whoops. Shit. Ha! Crap. Fuck. Ha! Where am I? Perfect. Okay. What's this? A map! Yay! I love maps. Where am I? How do I get back? Okay, cool beans. What right here? Oh, what's this? Oh, a red book. Okay. Can't grab that. Ah. Ah, I'm back. I figured it out. Hey, dude.
There you are. Come here. Take a look.
Okay, I'll take a look-sees.
Yes! I knew she'd make it.
You know her?
Yeah. Name's Claire. I came into town with her.
You can get to that courtyard. Through the second floor. East side.
You want me to kill you now?
I'm on it. Thanks, Lieutenant.
Yeah, thanks, Lieutenant. You don't want me to kill you yet? You're not looking too hot. Okay. Where did he tell me to go? Jesus Christ. Maps. Anyway, so I have a blue key now. Oh, and I also have this. Beautiful. Wondrous. Is this where I came from? Let me in. It's the police. Never mind. Oh, this is where I was. Okay. Does it say on my map where I need to go? He said east? He said second floor, east side. Okay. Was there anything down here? No, it was just like ammo, right? Right. Hello everyone, pleasure to see you all again. I have a book now. Examine the book. A piece of plastic shaped like a book. Looks like it was being held by a hand at some point. Held by a hand, you say? What's happening down here? Okay. Well, my knife is still good. I'm not really using it. I'm just shooting people. Shooting them dead. Damn hole in the floor. But I have like... Okay. Just curious. Okay, don't mind me. Just passing through, don't mind me. What's this door? Did I go through this door? Can I go through this door? Yes, I have. Why'd you redeem it twice? I'm going down the stairs, right? Am I going the wrong way? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Second floor. East. I'm on the wrong side. There's a faster way through the main lobby? Ah. Well, you know, I'm just, I'm a special guy. I go through here. This is different, isn't it? This is the wrong side. Okay, so I'm going the wrong way. Understood. Okay. I'll turn back around. Oh. Is there a shadow of a person? What's causing that? It's just the shape of the wall? Jesus Christ. Getting lost indoors over here. Bloop blomp. Bloop bloop blomp. Where did I come from? Where do I go? Not over there. Where it says exit. Bleep bloop blomp. Bleep bloop blomp. Open sesame. Organize items. Discard key items. Oh. I'm all done with it. That is what the check means. Okay. It'd suck if that's not what that meant. It would suck if that wasn't what that meant. Jesus Christ, what is that noise? Sounds terrible. I hate it. Alright. Hello? Oh, man. What you got, bud? You want a book? I got a book for you. Oh, you need a hand first. I'll give you a hand. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. That was... weird moment. Weird moment for me. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. Boy howdy. Thank you for your rod. Did I walk by something? Got you. Okay, no. We're good. We're good. I think we're good. I have a rod now. Very cool. I'm missing something in here. What's this? Oh, very cool. What's this? The ruby that captivated Edward the Black Prince, the pearl that the Queen of the Nile milked dry, the diamond that led a queen to the guillotine. There is no end to the number of tales related to the appeal of jewels. This mysterious red stone is simply the latest to sparkle among them. Like those other jewels, this one's origin is unknown. It's said that it once adorned a noble woman's jeweled box and was even dedicated to a wise king. This fall, a stone that's long been shrouded in legend will be on display during auction. There are sure to be many eager enthusiasts there. But dear reader, one would do well to approach with care, for devilry lies in the beauty's shadow. This jewel has turned caring nobles who love their subjects into despots more terrible than Caligula. And we have the tales to prove it. Seriously, it's precisely because these jewels are bathed in blood that their luster stirs something in the hearts of people everywhere. Oh man, I don't think I want this jewel anymore, man. You're playing a... Yeah, of course I have a rod. Come on. Come on, Meow. I use my rod for this? Damn it. Okay. This is where I came from. What do I do with the rod? Probably gonna be for a different puzzle, I guess. I don't like that my inventory is full. You okay? Probably not. Hey dude, you alright over there?
Hey!
Hey.
Leon?
Hey, hi.
Claire! Hold on! I'll be right there!
Okay!
Oof.
Claire! It's so nice to see you.
How are you doing? That helicopter just came out of nowhere.
I'm in one piece.
One piece.
I'm guessing you don't have a key in one of those fancy pockets?
No.
Unfortunately, no. But how are you doing?
You know, just surviving.
Are we flirting right now?
Yeah.
Any luck with your brother?
No, not yet.
Claire, don't lose hope.
Yeah, I also feel like that helicopter would have caused more damage.
Damn
I
it.
still think it would have caused more damage.
You know what that means?
Yeah. Dinner time.
Dinner time. Wakey,
Claire, I think you should
wakey.
go.
Don't worry about me, Leon.
Claire
Take
and
care of yourself.
Bakey.
Claire, you need to go. Now.
Run, bitch.
Hey, let's get through this. Both of us.
Yeah, sure, man.
Marvin, I've got a situation here. I'm surrounded by zombies.
I'm surrounded.
Marvin, do you copy?
But it's okay, Marvin. I have bolt cutters. Fuck. You know, the problem is I haven't needed to heal. I have so many healing things, and I haven't needed to heal. I don't know what to do. Fuck. What
Marvin.
do I do?
Damn it.
What do I do? What does the red do? It just fully restores my health, but I haven't lost any health. Ah, fiddlesticks, dude. Whatever. Be gone. Hey, I've been here before.
Shit.
Shit. Ah! Okay. Where am I going? What am I doing right now? I don't think I can get out of here, can I? Maybe? I don't know. That was the wrong way. Why am I so fucking bad at everything? Okay, so I can't leave this through there.
Shit.
Hey, dude. Well, let me reload for you. You dead? Gotta be stabbed. Okay. Okay. How do I go home? Through here. No. Yes, no. Yes, no. Maybe. Why is it so dark in here? Turn on the lights. Oh, the lights were on. East office. Oh. How do I get in there? Oh, hey, dude. Dude, I exploded that guy's head.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Let me in. Let me in. How do I get in there? Let me in there. Yeah, use the office. I am clicking it. Oh. Never mind. I was not clicking it. I was just body slamming it. Ah!
You bastard. What the? Fuck.
Okay. Probably fine. What's this? Okay. What's this? Electrical part. Fuck, dude! I'm not injured. I have too many healing things.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, you tell him, Leon. Dude, you're not dead. Fuck off. Remove that.
I can do this.
Yeah, you can do this. You got this, dude. Oh, and there's more stuff in here? Oh, good heavens. I'm just gonna have to come back. Well, I mean, after this, because I need this. I'm not injured. Fuck, dude. Whatever. I can't even use it because I'm not hurt. What do I do? I hate it here. I need more inventory. What do I get rid of? Full health, full health, full health. I'm getting rid of this. Block it. Hey, dude, we good? Where you at? Friend? Friend? Oh, hey, dude.
Still alive.
What am I doing? What was my goal? How we doing, guy? You chilling? Go away. Go away. Take out. Okay. Oh yeah. Go get the knob thing. I don't know what I need this for though. Oh, for the bathroom thing. Oh, flash grenade. Another green herb. I don't need it. Fuck you, green herb. I don't know what the staff is for either. How did it get so turned around? All I do is walk out of the door and I'm like, whoa, where am I? Much groaning. No. For the love of Leon, put some stuff in the item box. What stuff? What if I need all these things immediately? Okay, I'll put away the things that I don't know I need right now. That was a while ago though, you're okay now? Oh, okay. Yeah, the clicker is gonna be angry. Lickers? Ha! Lickers! Same difference, right? Okay. I don't need that. I just need to go. Tiptoe through the tulips with me. Hello? I don't want that yet. I want to go use my silly little key card. Beep beep. Wow. A gun. Wow, ammo for that gun. That's nice. Damn, that takes up more fucking space in my inventory. Yeah, dude. Oh, I take it back. I don't want a gun anymore. Just my pistol's fine. Box. Go away. I'm a pistol girl. Ugh. I guess I'll save. I haven't really been saving. Okay, now I'll go to the scary bathroom and use the knob, the wheel. Excuse me, dude. What lovely art. I'm not happy. I feel like bad things are about to happen to me. And I don't like it. Dialogue. Oh, right. Well, I still don't know what that is. I don't know if I got a clue for that. Man, maybe I do want the gun. Scared. I'll get the ammo for it. And here. And right here. Then we'll pick it up. Load her up. Oh, okay. Let me load this up too. Okay. Back up the stairs. Making that zombie guy very angry every time we walk by. Pick that up. Okay. Anybody taking a shower right now? Hey, dude. Okay. Oops. Nothing. Nothing? Oh, come on. I'm scared and I don't like it.
What in God's name?
Hey, dude. What you doing over there? It's 2 a.m. so you can fall asleep. You stream. Have a good night. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And if they do, take your shoe and beat them till they're black and blue. Okay, so I could just like I could just walk right by this dude, right? Pardon. Oh, I'm frightened. Where am I? Did I go in there? I thought it looked like it was locked. I did miss a room. This is locked. Dude's hanging out right there. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, I don't have anything to combine that with. But I'm also yet to be injured, so I guess I'll just relax. Oh. Account is required. Insert your dongle key. Damn. Let me in. There's a pretty gun in there and I want it. Ugh. Oh, was there a bat? This is the office of the character from the first game. Oh, fancy. Well, I want their guns. Oh, they're flash grenades. Oh, I don't have room for that. What's this? I don't need that. I've yet to be injured. A battery? Fuck, dude. So much shit in here. September 22nd, 1998. Office supply internal relocation notice. Heat resistant 3-number combination safe moved from Star's office 2nd floor to West office 1st floor. The combo is left 9. I'm writing this down. Can I combine my flash grenades? I don't know. Oh, I can. Okay, cool. Let me... Okay, that's not quite what I meant. Can I, like, put them in a thing? You know what I mean? They work like my knife? Oh. Ugh. Hello. Hello, hello. Death. My day is going good. We're doing all right. It's a little spoopy, but that's okay. I'm a strong, capable police officer. Yeah, now I can do it. Whatever that is. Okay. You still there? I'll give him a moment. La-di-da. La-di-da. Where was the how did I... Was the library up here? What was up here? Oh, right. Wait, do I want to go there? Yes? Yeah. Sure. No? I don't remember. What's in here again? Oh, this is where the bomb is. Wait, but... Okay, alright. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. What am I doing? Safe. Yeah. First West office. First floor. You still doing alright there, bud? Okay. Oh, I can't get in there? Yes, I can. Oh my goodness. I'm a very talented individual. I really just like looked at the map and then went the wrong way. Okay. Left. Wait, which way does it mean? Does it mean this way, left? Or does it mean the other way, left? Also, that is true. I have no inventory. Fair point. Valid concern. Update, I don't know, man. I'll put that in there for now, I guess. And if I need it, I can just come back for it, probably. The scepter. Okay. You're probably right. You're probably right. I can probably take the little gemstone out of it or something. Oops. Examine. Jewel. Okay, I have a jewel now. What do I do with the jewel? Can't recall anything that needed a jewel off the top of my head. in the box for now. I also don't know what the battery is for. I don't know. I shall go unlock the safe. If I can figure out how to unlock a safe. Okay. When it says left, I'm going to assume it means like turning it left. So 9, 15, 7. Cool beans. Yay! Awesome, I love that. Good heavens. Okay. Whew. Now what? So many things. File log. Save. Frame can slot. I used that, didn't I? Where do I go now? Where? Let me save. Oh. A little savey save. I don't know where I need to be. Helicopter? What is the helicopter? The office. The cleaner. Yeah, I don't want to pick it up. I don't know if I need it. Continue. Hey guys. Oh. Shut up. Are you dead? Was my knife broken? No. Oh. Understood. Y'all really eat up my bullets, don't ya? Ooh, a pluie.
Awesome.
Rise and shine.
God damn it.
Goodness gracious. Dead now? Don't need no stinking gun. There's another safe in there. Bank handles. Oh. I don't have that. That's where I got that from. Man, I'm confused. Was there something chained somewhere? The check mark hasn't disappeared. I think there was. Can't remember. Let's hover over stuff. I don't know. Beats me, Chief. I'm just a lost little guy. That's open, that's open. On these? I don't know, let's explore, I guess. Women's bathroom. Ugh. Oh, what, really? Is that it? First aid spray? Ugh. How would I get these places? There, but it's locked. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know. I don't really want that. I'll pick it up, I guess. Yeah, that's all that was here. Yeah, yeah. Anything else? No. Hmm. But I don't know the code for that. I don't have a that. Hmm. I'm fucking lost, mate. Jesus. Me, oh my. Yeah, I've missed something somewhere. Time to look everywhere. Yeah, I need a detonator for the C4. I don't know where that's gonna be at. I need something to be able to use this. I'm missing items from somewhere. Right. I want to check something real quick. Okay. I just want to try stabbing the toy. Hmm. Ay, 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 ay. Hmm. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. The operations room? That's all cleared. I think I found everything in there. We'll go back, I'll look. Haven't found everything in here? What else is in here? I unlocked that. What am I missing? Damn, what? The room is still red. That means I'm missing something in here, right? What am I missing? Locker? Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. Man. Okay. Locked door. Right. How did I get over there again in the first place? Through there. I'm also missing something in this hallway? Or is it just a door? I don't know. Well, that answers that. The bombs. The planes. The helicopter already blew up. Ugh. And now I'm lost. And I'm just a lost little guy with no idea where to go.
Jesus. Oh boy.
Oh.
What the?
Can you stay still? Just for a little bit? Thank you. Ah! Oh, he actually did it. He fucking bitted me.
Ah, shit! What the fuck?
You dead now? Okay. Look, I was injured for once. Guess that's fine. Well, that... I mean, I guess. Can't go through here. I don't have the key for it. Oh. Poopy. Excuse me.
Jesus.
Oh. They don't run.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, son of a bitch. Guys, I'm running out of ammo. Ugh. Of course you both got back up.
Hell. Damn it. This is insane.
Okay. Oh my. Oopie. Aha! Good heavens. Goodness gracious. Me, oh my. They're all about fracking time. Okay. Well, that was a headache and a half. What's this? No key for that. Oh! Okay. There's a note on the whiteboard. Okay. No problem. Locker room LAP. Oh. Oh. C. I thought it was a sloppy L. I would have figured that out eventually. Okay. I know this was a short stream, but after being lost for so long, I'm frustrated and crave a break. Oh. I just popped every bone in my body. Wonder where we're going. Wow. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't worry. Ah, ba, ba, ba. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's find somebody to raid. I think a few people are live right now. Oh, including myself that I accidentally just opened. Let's see. Alright, this person is playing... Let me make sure I mute that. They're playing, Resident Evil 4. We're gonna give them a little raid. Little raid. I believe we raided them before. Raid channel. Boop. Okay, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. and we'll continue. Hopefully, I won't get so lost and confused again, because I will die. All right. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.